Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, all my NB friends. You are tuned to Sacred Voices on KGNU. My name is Aston. I am on the board of directors for Sacred Voices. Sacred Voices is an indigenous, person of color-led organization that focuses on poetry and the spoken word, delivering it to youth in the Denver metro area. We host an open mic the fourth Friday of every month. This month, that would be on January 22nd. These are being held virtually right now because of the COVID-19 pandemic. You can find more details on our Facebook page if you are interested. And speaking of our open mic, I have with us today Joshua Emerson, who has hosted the past two, I believe, open mics for us virtually. Joshua, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm in a good mood. Happy to host those open mics. It's very, I like an open mic that's multimedia, and to see, like, we had little kids at the last one. I was a big fan of that. You know, they're dressed up to the nines. They said very powerful poetry, I think, for their age group. You know, I mean, it definitely made me feel something. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, those open mics have gone really well, and yeah, we had the kids at the last one. We had it was like a class from a school. They all got a workshop from us, and then they all performed at the open mic. And that it's always interesting to see how the kids do, because, you know, I feel like they're pretty good at writing the poetry, but then as soon as they get on stage, it becomes a whole different matter. I think they did pretty well, though.
No, and I think they did a great job. There is something about public performance, but I'm a big proponent of it. I think when you're talking about being able to express yourselves, you really want to get into writing and reading, but public speaking is a big deal. Being confident with a microphone to be able to convince people in a live setting or evoke emotion. Those are important and crucial. Happy to be part of it, for sure. Yeah. Is this appropriate to give my intro spiel right here? Is this where I tell the world where Joshua Emerson resides?
Yeah, we're going a little off book already, but you know that's fine. So let me formally ask you, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Oh, my pleasure. I'd love to do that. My name's Joshua Emerson. I'm a Dene, which is Navajo, a Navajo comedian based here in Denver, Colorado. Me and my friends, we have a little comedy production company called Dead Room Comedy. Won an award, so we can say we're award-winning production company. I also like to get involved in the community. I'm involved with the Denver American Indian Commission here in Denver and with the Capitol Hills United Neighborhood Organization as a big fans.
Sounds like you get around, you do a lot of stuff. I didn't know you won an award for Dead Room Comedy. Tell us about that award.
Yeah, so we won the Hawk Tank Alumni Track Award. So Hawk Tank down in Fort Lewis College, where three of us went to college. I got my degree in economics from down there. They have a business plan competition for entrepreneurs, and then we submitted as alumni. They have an alumni track. And yeah, so we beat out other alumni with our dazzling public speaking. I'm telling you, man, it works. We got real money, and I'll tell you what, it's been weird producing shows during this pandemic. Zoom has been tough, just because you don't get any of that electricity, and then in person seems dangerous, and so you're in this weird middle ground. So
yeah, and that. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with the whole Zoom thing, because like I've been to other open mics where they do it a bit differently than ours, where like they try to have the audience in the Zoom call and trying to have them applaud or laugh at things during the show. It's almost worse because I don't know, it's just not like a real audience. It's just kind of weird like that. But how would you compare all of this Zoom stuff that's been going on? I'm sure it's been a big adjustment. What has that been like for you?
So there's been a couple different tactics. One of my favorite ones, which Sacred Voices does employ, is to have a private Zoom meeting with all the performers, and then broadcast that out through another, like a Facebook live event. So you get the separation between the audience and the performers. And like Facebook is like better equipped in terms of like comments and emojis and being able to like show your appreciation. And so while you're not getting that feedback right away, like in the moment, you are able to like, I'll go back and like see like different comments and stuff like that. Another, like in terms of performer side, my favorite Zoom show that I performed on is when I had a PowerPoint slideshow. And so like for my portion, I just like took control of the Zoom, and then like I spoke over the PowerPoint, and that felt much funnier to me than just like trying to do stand up like in front of a camera. You know what I mean? And so
yeah,
I think I'm very proud of the different performers for trying to figure out a way to reach out. I think what has become most successful are like strong Instagram stories in terms of performers being able to utilize like Instagram to speak directly to an audience, and then but yeah, performing them, not my favorite.
Yeah, it's a big challenge. I've seen a lot of people, they've through all mediums of art, basically they're transitioning a lot to social media. Like they're doing like Instagram live stuff. There's like Instagram like reels now, and doing TikToks and all that stuff. Have you transitioned to doing any of that, or done any of that more?
Yeah, I do have a TikTok, but it's a secret. Don't let anybody know about it. That is, I pretty much use like my TikTok as like a video like joke book. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
like I'll record jokes and then like I'll keep them. They're all saved in the same place, basically. My buddy, he's a little TikTok famous. He's got like 56,000 on TikTok right now.
Oh.
Yeah, shout out Jacob Jones. Yankum Jones, if you want to go follow. He's a goofball. Short form comedy is difficult for me. I feel like this is gonna age me, but I feel like I'm too like old for it. I don't know how to connect with these kids, you know?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel old very quickly. Like my girlfriend's little sister, she's 16, and I feel like, oh man, I just can't. I can't make this kid laugh. Even though, like, I'm in my 20s, and I'm like, oh man, how old am I? But I don't know. I mean, you have like you read off a lot of one-liners during your show. I feel like that would translate pretty well to short form comedy.
Sorta. Because it does great live. Just because there's like you have the instant reaction. And that like dad jokes work, you know, there's a reason why they work, you know, they're just like a real quick, and it's silly, especially when you have, a jolly, chubby native up on stage, like smiling directly at you. Like people want to be a part of that, you know what I mean? Everybody's fun uncle. That's why I grew out my mustache. And on video, there's like this space, and you have to know what, like, one, how to perform it, and then two, how to cut it in terms of it's, I don't know if you've ever like scrolled on TikTok, but it's just like constant saturation of like music, of like different cuts. Like they're really like you'll look at just like a regular person's TikTok, like a normal person, not even a creator. They will, have 7 cuts within 60 seconds. In terms of different things that they filmed, and so they had to set up the camera for each one of those cuts. And this is just a regular person, trying to do this for their friends. And so it's a lot of energy. It's
pretty high production value for like a 60-second clip that you just filmed with your phone, and it's just going up online. But it's tough out there.
They got these kids on lock.
Exactly. So as with the COVID and everything, so like we have COVID. That's pretty bad. It's been pretty. It's
a little bit of an understatement. I feel like
hot takes incoming. COVID, not great, not good. But we've got more than that. Like, I mean, looking at the news yesterday, all of the stuff happening at the Capitol.
Ooh.
It seems like every week, every day, there's just like it's just more and more bad stuff. How do you do comedy in such a serious time?
I cry a lot, you know, like I like I like to go to like out and sit on park benches and just cry. Here's the thing is that like I mean people have heard this before, but comedy equals tragedy plus time. And so when you're talking about like, I mean, 2020, terrible year, right? I would say one of the worst years ever. You know, they have this pandemic that thousands of people are dying every day. You have a very poor federal response. You know, we have like the worst possible like leader in place during one of the worst things that can happen to the nation. And then on top of that, you have these illustrations of the fact that there's still racism inside of our institutions, and to the point where it's taken, you know, people of color's lives, and you have all this anger and built up. It's emotionally, it's been exhausting, right? And comedy to me is just another filter to try to reflect back what I'm seeing in the world. You know, and so laughter, I think, like it's ancient inside of us. There's a reason why every culture in the history of the world has valued it. And part of that, I think, is to be able to deal with trauma. And so like, I think this is one of the most important times for laughter in terms of you can't constantly keep yourself in this really negative headspace in terms of being able to like internalize and then process these negative things that are happening around us. We have to find a way to laugh as a part of that process. You know, it's all cyclical in terms of this, which is not to like belittle like anything. It's just you need to do both. Direct action, holding people accountable, but then also being able to bring levity to a situation and understand that we still, I mean, one of the best things about COVID, I think, is it really made me feel closer to the people in my life. You know, I feel a stronger sense of community. It also made me think about what's important to me and what I want to fight for, or how I want to impact the community around me. So.
Yeah, and that's that makes a lot of sense. You know, like, and I a lot of people I can relate to that in terms of like, you know, you have a day where you've scrolled too much on Twitter, and you're at the end of the day, and you know you'll just watch like a good funny show or something, and you feel that like cathartic release where you're finally able to laugh at the end of the day. It's
yeah. Well, it's not even like watching that show like you have a girlfriend, right? And watching something together that makes you laugh, you know, and it's like a shared cathartic release. That also I think is pretty beautiful as well.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine. It must be hard to go through this pandemic where you live on your own. That's got to be. I mean, I have some family members, and I've talked to them about it, and it's got to be tough. It's certainly better to go through. You know, yeah. Well, you have some roommates, right? So you were.
No, I'm all alone. I have friends. So I live in Cap Hill, 1650 Pearl Street. You want to come rob me, huh? I'm right here. I'm desperate for attention. Anyways, yes, I have friends in Cap Hill, but I live in the studio by myself. It's just me and my little dog Lola in here.
Well, I mean, that's something. You gotta.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, shout out Lola girl, man. She doesn't have Instagram or anything, but if you see her in life, give her a treat. She deserves it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, all right. So let's see here. Let's go back all the way, and let's try to figure out where all of this comedy stuff started. So you said you got a degree in economics, but
Yeah, very funny to do.
yeah, I know, right? um, so were you starting out in college? I'm guessing that you started out before that. How did you get into this profession?
Yeah. Well, I'm Navajo, and there's something about I think indigenous culture that you get roasted a lot. You know what I mean? Like growing up, like, there's like a sense of community in terms of where like people, like when they like you, they like to make fun of you and they like to laugh a whole bunch. Like if you're ever around a bunch of natives with each other, they're going to be making each other laugh. And so like from a very young age, I've always sort of liked that. And then I joined the Marine Corps. Very similar mentality. It's like the way that Marines show that they're affectionate towards you. I mean, because they can't just say it, right? You can't express yourself in the Marine Corps, God forbid.
Right.
It's through like roasting, like in terms of trying to find something funny about the way you look or what you did. And you go through so many bad experiences that you get this like shared trauma, you know what I mean, and brings you close together, and you get through that trauma by laughing for sure. A non-traditional student, went to college, and Durango. I don't know if any listeners ever get down to Durango. It's great. It's like a budget mountain town, great downtown, beautiful views, and they had a really good comedy scene when I came through. Allie Wolf, she invited me to my very first open mic. She ended up doing a TEDx on how comedy saved her life. So shout out Allie Wolf. Yeah. And there's something like I realized I really liked having attention. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where you're like, oh, attention. This is great. I love this. And down in El Rancho is a terrible bar show, but in the best way. Love El Rancho. And then in the Irish Embassy on the Underground. Still, I think one of the hottest rooms in Colorado. Very, very, I mean, not for COVID times, but
yeah, hot in a different way.
Yeah.
And that was where you did your first show.
Yeah. Down in Irish Embassy. It's like a little underground venue. DJ Tones, Ryan MC. That's where all three of us in Dead Room sort of started out. Jacob Jonas and Elliot Weber. We all started down in Durango in those rooms. And we got to do shows that we shouldn't have done way too early, I guess. You know, like shows for theaters for like hundreds of people that paid real money, and we weren't ready, but we didn't know we weren't ready. So like, you know, when you have like irrational confidence, it felt like having white privilege. Honestly, it was great. I subleased a car. You know, I got a Jetta, and moving up to Denver, you realize you're not that good, which is good. It's the best like type of punch in the mouth. I wish it on everybody in the world. You know what I mean? Maybe be punched in the mouth in something that you really care about that inspires you to become great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always it's like a rite of passage for all artists. You know, you think you're real good, you think you're something special, and then you
go to a bigger scene.
Yeah. You encounter someone who's actually good.
Yeah.
So something I've noticed during your hosting times for our open mics is that every little performance, especially, you know, with the whole Zoom format, it's easy to turn it into like, you turn every little performance into an interview after their performance, and you talk with them, you have a nice little conversation, and you're just able to connect with them immediately and so well. What's your secret to getting all that information out of them? Yeah,
I cry a lot. No, I'm just kidding. I honestly, it is. I don't know. Like when you grow up kind of chubby in middle school, you have to learn how to get people to like you. It turns out asking questions that you like care about the answers to like matters. People like to talk about what it's interested in, and when it comes to like an open mic, people are being vulnerable. It's very vulnerable to try to get out and perform something you've worked on, you know? And for me, I'm rooting for everybody. Because of that vulnerability, because of that bravery of getting out there, I am your biggest fan. And and so it makes it very easy for me to be excited for you. And I think people will respond to that positivity in a good way. And then it's just, I'm generally interested in these people. You know what I mean? Like I said, very lonely. Come visit me. 1650 Pearl Street.
Yeah, and that's good advertisement for anybody who wants to come perform at our open mic. People
That's
are
true.
the hosts are very interested in what you want to do. You'll have a good chance to get yourself out there. I've performed like once or twice at these things, and yeah, having a good host who's interested in what you're doing, it helps out a lot. So you're not just going out there like, oh, I hope they like it. I hope they don't hate me. But
hey, you want the host to be like on your side. You know what I mean? You want the host. The host, for me, like when it comes like a hosting responsibility, you're the cheerleader of the show. So like the first thing you need to do is you need to pump up, you know, the crowd for going out there. They took time out of their day, and then pump up the show. And you're just constantly cheerleading in terms of keeping that energy up, keeping it light. I will say, I can't wait for I mean, now that the vaccine is being introduced into the public, and you see the end of the road in terms of this whole pandemic and the start of this new thing that we'll figure out together. I'm looking forward to the days of public performance again, and seeing like actual smiles and actual responses. For sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Every month I'm like, okay, well I can't go back this month, but maybe next month. Maybe something will just happen where it'll turn around and it'll be fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that vaccine. Can't come soon enough. But yeah, so let me see here. So we originally were gonna have some comedy workshops for people, you know.
I still want to do that.
I still want you to do that. You know, it's tough now with COVID because it really doesn't translate to Zoom. You kind of got to be in person. You got to do those. I mean, it's tough to teach like performance skills virtually, you know. But it leads into the question, like, for those people who are just getting started and who are, you know, trying to dip their toe into this industry, what would you tell them? How would you help them out?
Yeah, come to an open mic. That's like number one thing. Like if you like comedy and you want to just try it out. You know, just go up there. A lot of people actually do pretty well their first time because people are pretty supportive. It's the second time that people really die on stage. And even if you die the first time, it doesn't matter. And you'll see it too. There's like something that clicks when somebody says something that makes an audience laugh for the first time. That means it's addictive. And you sort of just trying to get back to that. I mean, we run like socially distanced shows right now since venues started opening up again for indoor seating, and like we have online signups, so it can be competitive to get on the list. But those are all available at 5280.com if you wanted to. 5280comedy.com if you wanted to see what open mics are available in the Denver scene.
Yeah, just do it, basically.
Get over yourself, all right? Life is short, all right? What are you going to do? Are you going to stay and wonder what if? Or are you going to get out there, go out there, put yourself on the line, see if you're funny, see if you got your chops, you know what I mean? And there's two things that can happen. Either way, you can get a drink after the show, and I'll give you a hug if it's close to the time.
Yeah, that's some good advice. So going back a little bit to what we were talking about before, just, you know, with 2020, the world we're living in now, we see the topic of race come up a lot. And you bring that up in your comedy a lot because you talk a lot about how you're half native, half white. How does that inform your comedy? How do you bring it out?
Yeah, no. Well, there's one thing, like when you're half white and half native, you don't get to choose how people see you. So like if you see me on the street, you know I'm native, like right away. But there is a sense of privilege that comes with having a white dad, especially like my white dad. He's a very smart and loving dad. Sort of created a great environment for me, like in Phoenix, where I grew up. But I grew up in joint custody. Grew up going in between the city and Phoenix, and then out on the res during summers and winters with my mom. And so, like, there was like a duality of who I am that was like instilled in me from a very young age, and that duality included changing locations. And I don't know how many people are familiar with the Navajo Nation, but I mean, 60% of the households don't have running water. And I mean that, like, so even though, going to use the restroom sort of changes. It's a world away between, Gallup, New Mexico and Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah. So those differences I have experienced firsthand, but I'm glad I had both of them, because I honestly see my role as a bridge in terms of Indian country and the city. You know what I mean? And so hopefully I can work towards that over these next couple decades.
Yeah, I mean, having such a wide variety of experiences and being able to, just have all of that in you, it just, because the more things that you've experienced, the more things you can talk about and joke about. I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, because I'm going to joke about my own experiences, because those are the ones that other people can't joke about.
Right.
That's the material that can only be mine. Especially something unique as being half white and half native, like speaking on it. That's because I'd also put this out to the listeners. There's a difference between being native growing up in the city and being native growing up on the reservation. And a lot of people don't get to choose like how they're born, and as we sort of are defining Indigenous identity, we sort of have to be inclusive of all different experiences.
Yeah, very, very true. So there's a lot going on there. Tell me about what your plans are for 2021. It's a very volatile year. Not very sure what's going to happen, what December 2021 is going to look like. But what are you thinking?
Very ambitious for 2021. We actually sort of just been having conversations in terms of Dead Room. We'd like to put out a sketch video a week. We have some scheduled for the first couple of weeks, and then we'll be working on we'll be like writing and producing one a week. So we'll see how that goes. It's a lot of work in terms of putting together sketch comedy for YouTube, but so that's exciting. That's a whole vein. We're putting on open mics starting now, and that'll be going weekly throughout the year. We're doing we have a monthly Drunken Spelling Bee show, but then we'll start doing monthly shows at different venues as they start to open up. Really looking to mountain towns. I don't know. There's something about mountain towns where crowds, they're on fire and they're so desperate for content out there. And so, yeah, getting out there, love to do that. And then it's just, we live in such a beautiful state that being able to produce shows in these mountain towns, you get to see it firsthand and experience that. Sort of want to give that to the comedians that we take out there as well. And so that's like all on the comedy side. On the community side, I really want to work towards just developing. I mean, Native Americans are overrepresented in the homeless population, and I don't think they should be. I feel like that's a very easy thing to say and a hard thing to rectify. but I'd like to work towards that. Missing and murdered Indigenous women, I think, is an issue that I think some people are forgetting, because I mean, there's a lot of things that are important, and I want to work to make sure that is also something we're working on, because that's an issue that is created because of it's literal institutional racism in terms of the way the Major Crimes Acts negatively affect Indigenous women all over this country. And then I just, on a more positive note, I just want to do more things in the community. If that's planning like more community gardens, or like volunteering, picking up trash. I'd like to be more active and being and in the direct impact towards my community. Those are the big things in 2021 that I want to try to accomplish.
You've got a busy schedule, and
I cry a lot.
And yet, it makes me think like how you've got these like two worlds that you're doing. You're very busy. I mean, you do a lot with comedy, and then you do a lot of like activism and help with the community and stuff. So that's it's pretty cool. You found a little intersecting little niche for you to occupy with that.
Yeah, I mean, make your own niche. I feel like, if it's not out there, then make it, I guess. Big proponent of avocation and vocation, mostly because I like being pithy at parties, but in general, like the idea of being able to like have your work and then have your creative expression as well. Like, you want both.
Right. Exactly. Well, I want to give you a little bit of an opportunity to plug anything you want to. You did the smart thing. I think you plugged yourself like 10 times throughout all this, but let's give you a formalized little opportunity. Where can people follow you? Where can people find you?
Sure. You can find me at sacred-voices.org. Yeah, I finally got on the website. That's crazy.
Love that.
Made me feel important. Yeah, deadroomcomedy.com, at deadroomcomedy on all socials, at Danger Emerson on all socials. Those are the big ones. If you do one thing, I go volunteer. If you do two things, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dead Room Comedy. Yeah, Dead Room Comedy YouTube channel.
There you go, and that's where you can find Joshua Emerson. Thank you once again for joining me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're interested in more Sacred Voices, 2 weeks from today, January 22nd, look to our Facebook page. That is Sacred Voices on Facebook. I believe the URL is facebook.com/Sacred Voices Denver. We will be hosting our monthly open mic. It'll start at 6:30 p.m. Message the page. Reach out to us if you are interested in performing. And yeah, follow us on there. Sacred Voices Denver on Instagram, sacred-voices.org, our website for more information. Once again, my name is Aston. I have been interviewing Joshua Emerson from Dead Room Comedy. Thank you once again.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
And we'll see you all next time. See ya.
Bye.